Welcome. My name is Brian Higgins. I am KPMG's US consulting leader for our manufacturing sector. I'm really excited to be hosting a conversation today on a super interesting topic anchored around consumer privacy and automotive manufacturers. During the last several years, we've seen firsthand just how much the technology innovations across the automotive sector have led to a dramatic increase in connectivity, in data collection, in usage, and it's really serving to significantly complicate the customer relationship. OEMs are absolutely under increased pressure to improve their data governance practices. They're trying to determine how best to protect consumer privacy at the same time. And it's a fascinating topic. And I'm joined today by my colleague from our cybersecurity practice, Orson Lucas, who led the development of our latest white paper in our research around this particular topic. And the white paper is entitled Driving Trust, Consumer Privacy and Automotive Manufacturers. With that, I'd like to hop right into it. And to ground us, Orson, I'd like to start with you, and maybe you can talk a little bit about why consumer privacy has become such a pressing issue in the broader automotive manufacturing industry.
Thanks, Brian. Admittedly, I'm probably a little biased in my role as our national privacy leader, that privacy is something that should be important to everyone. But I think it's really something that's coming front and center for a lot of our automotive clients these days. Really, as we worked on this white paper, one of the core hypotheses that we had coming into this is that as auto manufacturers, which have traditionally, been disconnected from a lot of customer data, really start to dramatically and asymptotically or logarithmically increase the amount of technology that's in these vehicles. They end up with a situation where they're increasingly collecting customer data, and really, as a result, moving into a very similar position as a lot of the technology companies in the US and globally have run into. And so as a result of that, you end up with a situation where not only do you have these large volumes of data that customers expect you to protect, but you're also really squarely at the crosshairs of a lot of regulatory scrutiny as well. And we're seeing that with some of the inquiries, the Senate inquiries last year, some of the sort of highly publicized studies from Mozilla and others around some of the privacy notices. So this is really, Brian, as you said, this is a pretty exciting paper for us as well, in that it really gave us an opportunity to dive into not only what we feel are best practices, but as we talk with automotive manufacturers, understanding what they're doing today as well in a lot of these spaces, and how they're really pushing the envelope, and frankly, where there are opportunities to continue to improve as well.
And the survey was pretty comprehensive. We had 50 global automotive leaders sort of participate. What were some of the key findings regarding the customer privacy from your standpoint?
Yeah, I think a few things that stuck out to me, right? The first is that there's a recognition, at least across a number of the OEMs that we talk to, that there's very much a need to balance customer-driven innovation with strong data protection and data privacy practices around things like data collection, usage, sharing, the way that they engage with the customer around consent and provide notice, ultimately what they end up doing with that data as well. It was also, I don't say surprising to me, but it was interesting to me that 98% of the OEMs that we interviewed actually had made strides in establishing a structured program, building out a privacy framework, establishing roles to manage sensitive customer vehicle data, which really goes to show, at least from our standpoint, that that there is some investment in this space. This is something that they understand is important and are taking seriously. Another data point, I think 86% of the OEMs that we surveyed reported significant or moderate increases in their privacy program budgets. Again, just showing that from a board level down, that this is something that is an important initiative to them to continue to invest in.
And that's an interesting point. Like, if we just want to stop there for a minute, right? Because
Sure.
the one measure of how serious automotive leaders are taking this is the budget and prioritization that you just mentioned. And I know the paper outlined that a significant percentage of automakers have increased their overall privacy program budgets. But what's your view in terms of what's driving this increase? And maybe, to add on to that, where is the money going?
Mhm. Yeah, I think what's driving the increase is, just very directly probably a need to play catch up to a degree. So again, I think historically this hasn't been quite as much a priority as maybe it has in some other industries, but given what I mentioned about the heavy focus on technology and frankly the opportunity, the business opportunity that a lot of these OEMs have as well, not just to monetize the data, but really to enhance the end-to-end customer experience. Some of those novel use cases that have changed and probably accelerated over the course of the past couple of years are really what's driving the need for a lot of this budget increase.
Outstanding. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for those insights. I think that's a really fantastic grounding on the introduction and the overall, sort of privacy landscape and some insights from the survey that we actually conducted. I appreciate you joining me for that part of the conversation. For more information, I want to be sure for all the listeners to check out the KPMG white paper, Driving Trust, Consumer Privacy and Automotive Manufacturers.